Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about overeating and how to completely stop overeating. We've all been there. We've eaten and we felt disgusting. We felt like lethargic. It's not nice. And whether you consistently overeat and you compulsively overeat, or you just want to stop feeling like crap after you eat and you want to actually learn how to leave stuff on your plate, this video is for you. So let's go. So tip number 1, eat more throughout the day. So if you struggle with overeating, you might have a mentality where you save up for things, or on Saturday, I can be bad. These mentalities suck, okay? If you have a mentality where you're like, oh, okay, I'm going out for dinner tonight, that means I can skip lunch, that means I don't have to eat breakfast, right? You're gonna be starving and you're probably gonna overeat. This was one thing I used to do. So I remember so many times that I would have an event on, or I would have a family dinner or whatever it was, and I would save up calories for that event. So stupid. If you are prone to binge eating or you have a big appetite, right? I have a big appetite, but that used to make it so much worse. So stop these mentalities, okay? And back to what I was saying, eating more throughout the day. Seriously, start eating more throughout the day. Okay, look, you don't have to really eat 3 meals and 3 snacks. But what I'm trying to say is try to eat when you're hungry and fuel yourself with good food. So when you're hungry, don't put off that feeling of hunger. Honor it when you get it, okay? We'll get to the overeating in a second though. But that is really important to note. You do not want to have these mentalities because overeating and binge eating is about mentality a lot of the time. Anyway, let's get to tip number 2. Guys, so tip number 2. This is tip number 2. You want to understand your hunger cues. Now, if you have been doing all these diets, whether it's keto, whether it's what are some other diets, right? All these fad diets, right? Even fasting, okay? These are going to teach you to become less in tune with your hunger cues. Some people are successful with these diets, sure, but for a vast majority of people watching this video, including myself, these diets don't work for me. Now, the thing is, if you struggle with overeating, right, you probably are having struggle learning how to intuitively eat. If you've ever heard of intuitive eating, I have an entire another video on that to explain it, so go and watch that if you want. But you probably won't be able to intuitively eat if you struggle with binge or overeating. Now, what I want you to understand is if you struggle with binge eating or any type of overeating, right, you can't control it, I want you to stop doing fad diets. I want you to eat carbs. I want you to eat what you like to eat because it's gonna make you want it less. I'm not kidding when I say this, but the more you restrict, the more you will want it, right? So let's give you a real life example, right? Say this is you. You eat a really healthy breakfast. You eat a really healthy lunch, okay? You're great, right? You stay within your deficit. You're not overeating, okay? But you get home from work or school and you just eat so much because you can't control it. That's because you're probably restricting during the day, and I want you to stop doing that, okay? So get rid of all the diets and actually become in tune with your hunger and fullness cues. If you really want to get down to it, I want you to do this simple challenge. For 5 days only, I want you to only eat when you are hungry. Only when you're hungry. If you're not hungry, you're not going to touch food. Okay? And then once you've done this, I want you to come back to my comment section and tell me if you became more in tune with your hunger or less in tune with your hunger. Because a lot of eating we do is actually unnecessary. So keep that in mind and try the challenge out. But back to the hunger and fullness. With fad diets, it teaches you to actually follow rules. I want to get rid of all the food rules you've got. Okay, this is what worked for me. I used to chronically binge eat. I'd get home from school, I'd eat the entire cupboard because I was so hungry because I was fasting. And I also did keto, so I was just binging on cheese and low carb bread. Like, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Okay, Now, look, if you want to become more in tune with your hunger and fullness cues, the best thing you could possibly do is only eat when you're hungry. Now, there's a lot of eating we do for enjoyment, okay? That's fine to do that occasionally, but for 5 days, I just want you to do what I'm saying. Anyway, so become more in tune with your hunger and fullness cues. Okay, number 3. This one is really difficult. I want you to practice leaving food on your plate, okay? Because a lot of people who overeat have this mentality where you can't leave anything on your plate. This is so wrong. If you are full, you should leave that food on your plate. If you have a compulsion to finish everything on your plate, it's probably habitual and compulsive. So starting today or tomorrow, if you're eating a meal, right? And it's quite a big meal, or it's a medium-sized meal, and you feel, this comes back to understanding your fullness and hunger, which I just explained, but if you feel comfortably full, I want you to leave the food on the plate. Literally, like a handful, okay? I want you to do this for 30 days. 30 days, if you can make it. Now, I really struggled with this. My nutritionist, when I was in the depths of my binge eating disorder, told me this tip. Start leaving food on your plate. I started leaving food on my plate, right? And I stopped overeating. It wasn't that simple, right? It took me a long time. But this is the one thing that truly helped me, okay? So start doing that. It's all about habits and it's all about your mentality, okay? Get rid of the mentality, I have to finish everything, okay? And I want you to stop restricting. Number 4, and this will be the last one. This is a really good one, okay? After you eat, okay, and you are done with your food, I want you to shift the focus from food to something else. So I don't care what this is, as long as it's not food, okay? You might have to clean up the mess that you made from cooking or eating, right? But what I mean is, once you're done eating, go for a 10 to 20 minute walk. Play an instrument. Clean your room. It doesn't matter what it is, but I want you to get the mindset off the food, okay? Off the food. I help a lot of people with overeating and binge eating, and a lot of the time I find they are just thinking of food 24/7. So we've actually got to get rid of that obsession, right? If you overeat, you got to recognize that food might be one of your sources of joy, and that's not okay. It's okay to have that in moderation, but not at every meal. For example, having 2 pieces of chocolate for enjoyment, not bad. Having a slice of cake at a birthday, not bad. But if you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner and overeating each time, food for you could be a coping mechanism. And I have another video on how to stop using food as a coping mechanism. So yeah, try that. Okay guys, that's everything from me today. Comment down below if any of these things correlate with you. And I can share my experience with binge eating for sure. I will share it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if any of these helped you. And that's all from me today. Love you guys.